I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Oh, it's been pinched! It has been pinched, and it's the Rocket, isn't it? It's Jensen!
It's scored! Hudson Huddersfield will surely be going to Wembley!
It's going to go all the way!
It's going in for the Giants!
He's deceptively quick for a half-back. Is he going to go all the way?
They've got the numbers out wide here of Huddersfield. They have got the man out wide. It's McGilvray for the corner, and McGilvray is in.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Talking with Giants podcast. We've 2 wins to report on this week. 2 wins. How will our man Jake Rowlands take to such heady podcasting times? With Jake is a man who never stopped believing that better times would be around the corner. It's Nathaniel Wood. How are you doing, gents?
Yeah, good. Good. How are you, Matt?
Not bad. I had to suffer the ignominy of being pied off by Big G yesterday. So I've lifted myself up off the floor and I'm here to podcast with you guys. I went to the front, took my 3-year-old to his first Giants game yesterday, and took him to the front. He had some good fist bumps with the players. He loved that, and that's one of the great things rugby league does, isn't it? How you have the rugby league family, and he managed to get a couple of fist bumps with Leroy, Luke Yates and stuff, and then tried to take a picture with Big G, but I don't think he heard me, so I lined up the photo and he just walked off behind us. So he must have heard my voice and thought, that's that knob from the podcast, I'm out of here. So I'm blaming Jake. So how are you guys doing then? What do you reckon to yesterday? So 18-0 down early doors. Looked a bit of a tough one, didn't it? But fantastic comeback. We got back, as you always say, Nate, we got back in the arm wrestle, and we sort of slowly got back into the game, took over, and it ended up being a decent performance, that early starter side. Do you reckon that?
Yeah, probably the worst possible start you can get. For Russ getting his kick charged down, and I know a lot of people probably critical that he held on and got himself simming, but I think if you speak to any of the lads and speak to most rugby league players, they'd rather him had done that and got simbined and back themselves to defend with 12 men, and keep it 0-0 rather than concede and go 6-0 down and be playing 13 versus 13. And yes, we got simbined, then they went back to back, didn't they? And I actually thought that not a lot of people mentioned it, but the massive game change for me was Jake Wardle's dropout. To fly that, we was under the pump, we just conceded back-to-back tries, they'd gone back downfield, then got a dropout, and then Jake Wardle, so he kicks it 60 metres downfield for feet to knock on. And then we just sort of got his breath back, we had the ball, and that was just time. I was just calling the stand, just settle down now, it's like you said, let's get into the arm wrestle here, and I think we got Russell back, and then this Westerman scored at 18-0, and you just think, it is a tough ask here, and this game could easily get away with the young side we had out, but they didn't. You could see that I watched him behind the sticks, and you could see the senior blokes talking to him, Peachy and Jones, who were talking, and it was really good to see that they didn't panic. You got Will Price at 18, then Russell went off with an end knot, so Will Price at 18-year-old is leading this team around the field, and it's a big ask, and it was good to see that he didn't panic early doors. We trusted, I know what else says it a lot. We trusted the process, and for me, like you said, I kept believing, and I actually believed 18-0 down yesterday would probably come back and win yesterday because Wakefield are not a very good side, and they're at full strength. We had 12, I think it was 10 to 12 first team missing a lot. I can't fault their effort. Yeah, disastrous start, but they deserve every bit of praise that they get from yesterday because to come back from 18-0 down and win, could have been a lot better, bear in mind if I know Will were kicking into the wind, so it was a tough ask on that touchline, but we missed 4 kicks, and if he nails them, then we have to win by about 12 points. So we're quite comfortable in the end, so fair play to the boys for sticking with it, getting into the arm wrestle, believing in what they do and coming away with 2 points.
Mate, I was behind one of those kicks, perfectly positioned behind one of those kicks, and he curled it, and it came back and went through. It looked to go through, and they didn't, and they flagged it off as if it didn't. So, but I thought that went through, but it was a tough one to judge because it went over the sticks rather than through them. But Jake, what do you reckon then? You saw the game. You decided to knock the gym on the head, didn't you, and stick with the game. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, after that last performance at Wakefield earlier in the year, and then we started like that, I just straight away I just thought, here we go. And I do think if Wakefield had just scored again and it had gone to 24-0, I think we would have taken an absolute pasting because as heads would have dropped. But like Nat said, there were a couple of game-changing moments which went our way. Jake Waddle's dropout, the unfortunate incident, well, not fortunate for us, but unfortunate for Innis, that error from him that led to Sam Wood's try. Just a couple of other little things. I do think Russell was having a bit of a howler, and I think that was a game changer. Not that an injury is bad, but I do think Sam Wood coming on made a massive difference to us. I think Russell's head went a little bit after he made his kick got charged down, and then he got Simbin, and he came on, and Fifita and some big blokes would target him. He missed a couple of tackles, and I just felt like that would probably a move Watson probably should have made, even if Russell wasn't injured a few minutes later, or if not before that, really. Because I do think that in this particular game, if we just persevered with Russell and Price, we probably would have gone on to lose the game. So I think that were a changing moment for Giants. But that's nothing to say, Russell's a young lad, played really well over the last 2 weeks. He was exceptional last week at Castleford. But he was having a real stinker at the weekend. Sam Wood, on the other hand, when he came on, was absolutely fantastic. His defence, even his kicking, which I've questioned in the past, but like Watson said after the game, he were finding gaps. His kicking were exceptional. Big props to some at forwards. Yates, he were blowing after 30 minutes, but he just manages to stay on the field. His engine's absolutely unbelievable. Never seen a player with an engine like that. Especially when you're coming up against big blokes, when Fifita's coming on for 20 minutes and then going off, and Yates is, dealing with him well. Everyone at Wakefield team, for 80 minutes, it's absolutely fantastic. Can't fault anyone really other than that. I thought as a team, dug in for each other. It was good to see Price. I know Watson said at half-time he will lead team talk, but I noticed him a few times when, we were behind sticks. And he was really geeing up, some more senior players and giving them a bit of a ticking off after we conceded his third try, which were quite poor defence. For somebody at 18-year-old to be, leading the way like that, it speaks volumes, really. Happy to get the win. Like Nat said, Wakefield are a bit poor, but, I did think looking at the team sheet, they'd have enough in the tank, and we think we get edged out. But Ollie Ashall-Bott, I thought he were absolutely fantastic at the weekend. And if what Watson's saying is true, that if you have a good game, you keep the shirt. I think he deserves to keep the number one shirt for Salford game on Friday, unless Jerry's injured, of course, and then obviously Golding comes in and Ashall-Bott moves to the wing. In that case, fantastic.
I agree. I just want to give a massive shout out to Leroy and Chris McQueen, because the whole second half of Fifita stayed out on that left edge and targeting young Will, and Will did a great job on him, and I'm not giving Will any stick here because he did a great job, but McQueen and Leroy really looked after him on that left edge, on that right edge, yesterday afternoon, and that's the defence from them two. And then Leroy, when it were about 5-7 minutes to go, with them two getting their hands on ball because they backed themselves, they were just looking for the strip, and McQueen and Leroy came in and said, give us ball here, I'll look after it. And so I just thought, the way they looked after Will and managed the game at the end, I just think it's a massive pat on the back to them too.
The touch of class as well, wasn't there, Nate, from Jake Wardle, which helped us get back into the game as well. Yeah,
fantastic ball, and that just shows what he can do. He's come up with the two, basically you take the Innis area away, he's probably come up with the two big moments in the first half. As I said before, the dropout that went 60 metres that got us the ball back and just stopped us being under pump on his own line. And that touch of class just to get the ball out to Louis, because it's an hard thing to do, because he's about to get hit by the winger as well. He's about to get smashed, and he managed to tap it on, and it probably just went backwards in our favour. He could have easily knocked that forward. Plenty of people and knocked that forward in Super League. So the centre work that he did there to get Louis over in the corner, which 18 gets back in the game, didn't he? You just thought, here we go, if we can go in at 18-10 at half time, we had a chance. And took Jake.
Yeah, I mean, he's people said he's been a bit quiet the last couple of weeks, Jake Wardle, but it's the stuff he does. When he's not making breaks, he carries as well. His footwork's unbelievable, and he never gets put on his back. He always manages to make meters after contact, even when he's 3-4 big blokes. Tackling him, he punches well above his weight as well because he's not the biggest bloke. Centres. You look at some of the centres like Leroy and stuff, and they must have 10+ kgs on Jake, but he's just as strong. So yeah, brilliant player.
I said it on here 3-4 weeks ago, and I'll keep saying it. If we wanted to give someone massive money, marking, but he's 18-year-old and the halfback/fullback he is, and I totally agree. And again, everyone knows I'm a massive fan of Will and love the lad to bits. But Jake's a bit older, he's that special talent. It's people like him and your older lads like Josh Jones and Luke Yates you need to build your team around as well. And look, no surprise that NRL's we are sniffing around him, and it's only going to get heat up again eventually because I don't think he's actually had a bad game as of this season. When even in the losing side, he's always been good and he's constantly 7 out of 10. So if we want to give anyone this big marquee money, then forget your Australians and your New Zealanders or whatever and give it to Jake Wardle.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if NRL clubs were sniffing around Will Price. They took Dom Young, and Dom Young had not really set the Super League alight in the games he'd played. I think he'd only played 2 games. Will's come in at just gone 18, and he's been fantastic for the last 3 or 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised if they were sniffing around him as well.
No, I agree. He's got a big job as Watson on Friday. It's quickly moving. I know we'll discuss the Salford game later, but it's for me, I know he keeps on about pulling Will Price out because we're going to get Cogger and Gasky back soon, but for me, leave one of your senior halfbacks on the sidelines and play Will Price, and that will boost his confidence as well. Knowing it's keeping first teams out. So, But obviously, like I said, we'll probably discuss that later on.
Yeah. Well, no, for me personally, I mean, from that performance, I think you have to go into Friday's game with Sam Wood and Price as your halves, potentially. And if Cogger's coming back from an injury, maybe Cogger starts on the bench. But like I said, we'll discuss that shortly.
Do you guys want to hear some star performance from the FIFA Form website?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let's go.
Right then, guys. So the star performer, the game star. So Joe Greenwood got man of the match. Jake, thought you'd enjoy that one.
We didn't mention him, but he had a very good game as well. Probably his best game in a Giant shirt behind the Wigan performance a few weeks ago. I think he'd admit himself. First 6-7 games at season, he were well below par, probably where he wants to be. But he seems to be getting better now, which is great news for the club.
So it won't be a surprise to know that the star man was Luke Yates, as always. Standard. He's currently tackling his way to a player of the season gong, isn't he? So 128 metres he made, 46 tackles, 16 carries, and 100% tackling rate for Luke Yates. Another great performance from him. The baby-faced assassin, Ollie Ashell-Bott, made 183 metres, 4 tackle busts, and 19 carries. Really good performance from Ollie, so I echo what you said earlier. Guys, about him. He really sort of came alive in that game, especially after the first 20 minutes. Jake Wardle's number 3, so 174 metres by Jake, 15 carries and 11.6 metre average gain. Owen Trout comes in 4th. He had a 96.67% tackling rate. He only missed one, and a good average gain of 10.75, and then in comes Greenwood. Pete's Leroy Cudjoe appears as well with 15 carries. Josh Jones in there with 32 tackles as well. And of course, Jermaine McGilvery. And Jermaine McGilvery made that really important challenge, didn't he, in the corner where Tom Johnston looked like he was maybe going to dive in and touch it down, but Jerry just about managed to bundle him into touch. And that was such a huge moment in the game as well. Because like you said, Jake, if they score from that moment, then it's a really sort of long way back.
It was, I think rather than the tackle, I think Johnston made a bit of an error going too high. He went ridiculously high when he didn't need to. And I think if he'd have gone a little bit lower and gone straight for the line, he'd have probably scored. But for some reason, he leapt so high in the air and then just let go of the ball. But nonetheless, Jerry obviously put him off as well, made a bit of contact, which added to the cause. But yeah, that were a turning point in the game as well.
100%. So anything stand out? Luke Yates, I think Josh says it. Anything less than 7 out of 10 from Luke Yates, and you're wondering, you know, if he gets a 6 out of 10, you think he's had a bad game, don't you? He's just so consistent, isn't he? You know, he's a bit of a machine in tackling. You can play him loose. You can probably play him anywhere, can't you? In the forwards, he just fits in. You know, he's almost like an Australian army knife, isn't he? You know, he's such a good player. You know, doesn't miss a tackle, carries it in. And again, you know, and I make a mention of it again, but you know, at the end of the game, he's there. He's the main one getting photos with fans and stuff. You know, living the whole sort of rugby league family thing. So you know, when you talk about cultures, you know, and bringing good people in, Luke Yates is certainly settled in, and for me, he's really come into the club. He's taken to the club, and the club have taken to him, and it's such a great piece of business bringing him in, and long may that continue, guys. For
yeah, I mean, look for me, he could get injured and be out at squad for the rest of the season, and he'd still get Player of the Year for me. He's been absolutely fantastic every week. And like Nat said to me a few days ago, you know, if he looks a bit quiet, you know, for a game, people seem to think he's had a bad game when he hasn't really. You know, he's always 7 out of 10, but he's more near a 10 out of 10 than he is 7 out of 10 most weeks. So fantastic, and I'm led to believe he's met an English girl over here. So chances are he'll stick around for a while. The only thing that worries me about Luke is the way he plays. He's a small bloke in terms of a forward. And can you keep that intensity and the way he plays up for the next, I think it's 25, 26. Can you keep that up into your 30s, you know, early 30s? Will it take its toll on his body? You know, I don't know. Hopefully not. But if he can keep that going, he'll be some player for many years.
I mean this in the nicest way possible, in case he's listening, but the man is a freak. Like Jake said, the stuff he puts his body through, he manages to do it. I know some weeks he gets breaks, but he can do that for 80 minutes every week. Now that says something in your strength and conditioning, what he does, and that must show you how hard he must work in training to get his body ready for that every week. You know, never misses a game. I know he's missed one, but that would just suspension, not injury. I can't praise him any more than that. Is one that we need to keep hold of, definitely. I know he's still under contract for a bit yet, so we're okay. I probably agree with Jake. If he gets injured now, it'd be tough to knock him out of play with you, because for me, he's got it already. The only one I think could take him is probably Jonesy. He's another one who just seems to be a freak, and two excellent piece of business from Water there at the beginning of the year to get them over and join us. But the one that surprised me, not surprised me, because I thought he had a good game when I watched it live, and with Golden being injured, he did, so this is your chance. I saw Bot. I didn't realise he made that many metres. I knew he made a few tackle busts, but the one play that sticks out to me were the last 10 minutes. They put this bomb up and he just leaped out the air and picked it out, and then made 20 metres on the back of it. Just when they were trying to contest it and get in and get close to us, and he just leaped, took it, made 20 metres and settled it down. And yeah, like I said, if what I was saying that you play while you keep your position, then I'll be surprised if he's out of the 17 come Friday night, because you're excellent. He deserves his shot, and like I say, he's good on his feet, and he can create something nifty in like Will, and he can create something out of nowhere. But he did go down 3 or 4 times, and I'm just scared that his body can't hack it or something. I don't know if he just does it because he's aching or what, I don't know, and I hope not. But like I say, fingers crossed, I hope Jerry's okay. Yeah. If not, wouldn't surprise seeing him up winning Golden at fullback.
No, Jerry looked in a bad way 3 or 4 times in that game, and I remember it first half, after about 20 minutes, and he was just holding his nose like that, as if to say, I'm in agony, and he was hobbling, and and then he'd come back into the line, and it just looked like he was in pain all the game. And I think Watson said, didn't he, in an interview, he's had an injection recently just to get through pain in his ankle, but then he got a bump to his hip. He really, really shocked his felines up on Friday.
He went down 2 or 3.
At some point, we might just have to give him a week or so off, to keep him, fresh. It's obviously not fresh, but just to just to look after him a little bit, because we talk about looking after younger blokes, but if we keep letting Jerry play, we've not got much to play for this year now, really, have we? I know people think we can still make an outside chance of a playoff spot. I still think that's unrealistic. Do we get to the point where we're like, right, we're safe, we've got his processors in? Do we give somebody else a chance on wing like Ollie Ashall and let Jerry get himself ready for next year when it really matters? But at the same time, Jerry's probably looking at it thinking, I've scored however many 7 tries in 3 games, is it? I'm going up that leaderboard of tries. I want to get further up there, keep me in team. I want to score as many as possible. Difficult one.
The players, he wants to play, doesn't he? So, but I think if you're going to rest him, then I'm not giving Salford any sort of stick here. They're a good team and they're obviously capable of beating us, but I probably would rest him because for me, like I say, as a fan's point of view, I know Watson and that kind of thing, but forget Salford game. Next Thursday's our big game. It's a chance to the double over them lot that we don't like from across the M62, and I know I'll get bragging rights at home if we can do double over them. So rest everyone this Friday. I don't care about this Friday. Rest them all, make sure they're all fit for Leeds, and let's go over and beat them all again.
Okay. Right, guys. We've got the bonus this week of not win but 2 wins, as we said at the start. And I was on holiday last week, so I didn't get a chance to witness this. But there was a very, very good performance against Castleford, whereby, I think, Jake, you mentioned on a couple of occasions you couldn't see us scoring too many points, sort of scoring, into the 20s. But 34 points away at Castleford, Jake, it's a good performance.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't say it was the greatest performance in the world. Cass had a very young side out, a lot of academy players, they were suffering with COVID, and you can only look at the team selection the week after when they beat Leeds compared to what it was against us. Saying that we still have to turn up there and win, something we failed to do in past, when teams have had players missing. So you know how you would when you're at home and you're down the side and you can sort of see everything. So it's hard to say really who had a bad game or had a good game. But yeah, it's good to get the win. I've not watched the game back yet. Maybe I will do, maybe I won't. There were points in the game. McShane's try, referee give it clear as daylight to us behind sticks that want a try. But, no hesitation in giving it. Like I said, his heads could have gone down at that point. Again, we didn't pass that they have done, when something's not gone our way, but we stuck to it, grinded out a win. Made tough work of it at times. Cass were better than I expected. Some of their young lads, give themselves a bit of a pat on the back because they stood up in times and then games. McShane's a class act, we'll give him a bit of stick behind the sticks, but, when you've still got a player like McShane in your team, he's always going to do good stuff and he's always threatening with ball near line. But yeah, our lads, Trouty, Ollie Wilson, they're just getting better with game time. Especially Trout, who's really surprised me this year. I thought he was quite good at Castleford, sorry. I think he said in an interview this week, he was sore, but he could have fooled me on against Wakefield because it looked good again at the weekend. So, these lads, like Watson says, they keep playing well. They'll keep the shirt. Yeah, I was just a bit unfortunate for Ashall Bott at Castleford because I know his partner Georgia Stanley, who had been competing for GB over in Japan, had literally got off a plane and come to watch him straight away, and then unfortunately he didn't get on field to play. So a bit unfortunate for him because I was hoping that Watson would give him 10-15 minutes at back end of the game, but because game were quite close with about 20 minutes to go, he probably just decided to stick with what we had.
Yeah, I was there again. Like I said, I thought the first half were a professional performance. We didn't actually look, to be honest, I think it sounds, no respect to Castleford, because like Jake said, look at the team selection, they had quite a few young lads. But I don't think we came out of second game in the first half, and we sort of seemed to be easing in. Like I said, Leroy ran some great line skates, 2 tries, and fair play to Will for picking him out. And yeah, we just looked too easy and thought second half it got a bit messy from both teams. I thought we sort of dropped to standards. That's what happens when one team's bad, you sort of drop your standards, don't you, in a bit. And we have a lot of young lads in this team, so I sort of expected it to happen, and it could have happened, and it did. But then it seemed to last, like I said, 15 minutes. We got his head back on, so right, let's go and seal this game now. Let's go win this game. I thought, I know, like I say, probably didn't have the greatest of afternoons if we only played 10 minutes yesterday, but I thought Ollie Russell were outstanding Monday night at Castleford. He was probably best player on pitch, to be fair, and probably definitely the best half on the pitch. And when you got Paul McShane playing half back who's man of steel, and Ollie Russell at 22, 23 saying, yeah, what best half up field, he deserves a bit of plaudits and a bit of credit, and he was probably best player against Hull.
Yeah, he was.
As well, and he was best player. For me, he was 100% the best player at Castleford, and he totally ran the show all game, and so he deserves credit for that. And like I said, Trout keeps impressing. Hewitt, he's the one that just keeps impressing. Hewitt's not getting massive minutes at the minute, I don't think, but he's being on. He can team, making a difference in the team when he plays. So he's another one that probably keeps players. What has got their decisions, but yeah, professional performance. We did enough. It was good to be back at an away end, watching the boys and having a laugh and giving the opposition some stick. The one lad I will give a shout out to Castleford is probably that Kane Robb. He looks about 10, and he defended in middle, and our forwards picked him out every time on that Monday night. And you know what? He kept getting up and he kept bouncing up and he kept going. And I bet it was sore Tuesday morning, but he deserves a bit of plaudits because he wasn't very big, and like say Wilson and that kept picking him out, and he just kept bouncing up and going again. Fair play to the kid.
Do you want to know statistically who our better players were then?
Yeah, go for it. I have no idea from this game, to be honest.
No idea, but I'll guess that Luke Yates made plenty of meters.
What a surprise. Luke Yates again is top of the charts. 97% tackling, 206 metres, which is huge. 6 tackle busts.
That's phenomenal, that.
6 tackle busts, 33 tackles, 2 clean breaks, 18 carries, and 11.44 average gain. He's just, like you say, the guy's a machine, isn't he?
He's a freak.
Do you know what? If he keeps this up, I wouldn't be surprised if some NRL clubs came back sniffing at Luke Yates, saying,
"You should up at NRL club sniffing our players."
I know, Jake's on commission over there, isn't he?
Yeah. No, but he's still a young lad, really. How many times some of other forwards that are of similar age or a year below, we still look at them as young lads, whereas Yates is 26 and we don't talk about him as a young lad because he's so good. But in theory, he's, in terms of being a prop or a loose forward, he's got quite a long career ahead of him, hasn't he? He's
his best years to come, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He'll do well to top this year. Ashton Golding was second, by the way, 179 metres, 8 tackle busts, 16 carries, 11.19 metres gain. Nathan Peets, 97.96 tackling, 48 tackles, 2 assists, 12 metres average gain, which is decent. And Jake Wardle as well, as always, 5 tackle busts, almost 14 metres in terms of gain, 139 metres overall. And then that's backed up with Chris McQueen, Jerry, Leroy. Leroy's quite consistently been in the top 5, top 6 as well the last couple of weeks, which is great to see. Leroy showing there's plenty of life left in him as well. And Sam Wood's appeared a couple of times as well, so fair play to Sam Wood. He's not put his feet up at all, with a move to Hull KR, and I thought he played well yesterday. And 30 tackles and 4 busts against Castleford show. He's showing what he can do as well. So Nathaniel Petteru rounds that up as well with a good 115 metres. So Ollie Russell, 100% kicking as well. So we'll throw. You mentioned Ollie did quite well, and
he did have a good game at Castleford. We point out sometimes when players have done bad, but he did. He was excellent, and it was the game before that as well. But just had a little bit of a dip at the weekend, which you expect at that age. To be fair,
yeah. So it's how we respond from that now.
Yeah.
He obviously won't play Friday night because he was referring his egg test, but when he comes back in after that, it's probably how he responds from not having the greatest of afternoons yesterday. He probably knows that deep down, like I say. Knowing from what I know of him from the academy, and I spoke to him last night about obviously trying to find out how he was, and he's all right. He'll bounce back. He's the level of the guy. He's a good kid, and I'm 100% sure that he'll bounce back for a good game when he next gets his chance. And you could see before that his confidence is growing massively by playing every week. So that's all he's asked for is a run. And I think the more he goes on in this run of games, he's getting the more he's playing well. And that's sort of the ability that I know that he had from the academy. And I'm just glad he's transferring now on first team duties now, and people are starting to see the real Russ.
I like him, mate. I genuinely do. I do like Ollie Russell. Like there's something about him I quite like. He's quite a smooth player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think where people get a bit hasty sometimes is to look at players like Will Price and compare him to Russell, and I think I've been guilty of that myself. But what we forget is Will Price is an exceptional with the potential to be a superstar. Russ is never, and he'll probably say himself, he's never going to be a superstar, but he's a hard worker and could be, if he keeps going, a good Super League. Whereas a potential superstar, he's got the speed,
The difference between them, the difference between them is Will's flashy, Russ isn't. Will step and then Russ in that sort of half. Russ is your organiser.
He's got the flair, hasn't he?
Playing, they are two separate halves. And like Jake said, I think a lot of our fans do try and compare him, but the two completely different halfbacks. Kevin Sinfield was one of the best players to ever grace Super League, but he's not like a Will Price either. He made a career doing what Ollie Russ does, and that's something that Ollie will look up to. Like I say, everyone knows from day one I've been his biggest fan at Giants, and I'm still sure that if you actually use him right, like Watson is in game going, it will be a very good Super League halfback.
Price is more of a like Jake Truman type halfback, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you look at Truman now, and people keep saying how young he is. He's 23, and I believe he might even be 24 this time. So he's getting to the point where he's not that young. And we've got Price coming in at 18, and you've got to say, what he's done at that age, it's still phenomenal. And he's rightly getting the plaudits he deserves on Sky Sports, but you just don't want it to go to his head, and hopefully he won't. With Leon, his dad will probably keep him grounded. And even after games, you can see how much it means to him, because he's won it first over to fans every time.
Yeah, he's going loud as well, doesn't he? And
yeah, and
he came over to us after the Cast game. Since we're speaking about it, Russ and him both came over to me after the game and thanked us for coming over like it's a Monday night, and they understood. Like Will understood that it's not easy for fans to turn up on a Monday night after work, and guy didn't get home till 11:45 and have work next day and stuff. But we do it, and Will recognises that, and he came over and fist pumped and said thanks for coming, mate. And again, he's straight in. Look at him yesterday when we won. He were trying to tell the crowd to get loud as we were all singing and clapping, and that's the sort of energy that he brings.
Jones is quite good at doing that too, isn't he? Josh Jones, he loves getting crowd going as well. And I think we've missed that over the last, few seasons as well, because we haven't really had any players that have done that. Whether it's just personalities, some are a bit shy. Jake Waddle comes across as a bit of a shy character in person. But we missed some real characters in the team, which I think, and at the moment they look to all complement each other well. And I think Price has added to that. He seems well liked by a lot of players. They all speak highly of him. And I'm sure they'll keep his feet on ground and keep working hard for the team.
More interesting, I don't know if anyone saw it and follows him on Instagram. Apprentice, and I think that's really good of Leroy. Just as probably he's captain at the minute with Bruno being out, that probably taking him to one side and saying, "Look, Will," and I'm not sure what the conversation was. This is me only guessing, but probably showing him what he did well and where what it can improve. And I think that's a great picture to see that our other players are sitting down with these younger lads who are making their way and saying, "Look, lads, this is where we need to go. You're doing well," and I think it was a really good photo to show.
Yeah, no, definitely. They'll probably get a lot of that at home as well, which is good, because how many young players can ever go home to somebody that much of a good player, for advice as well. So he's heading in the right direction, that's for sure. And you've got to give props to Leroy and other players. Bringing these lads through. Leroy's will just feel through and through. I personally have to hold my hands up and say I thought he was finished. I've said it before, but last few weeks he's getting better. And at the moment, I don't see how you can bring Lutelli back in on Friday. Watson's mentioned his back, but, Leroy's done quite well at the centre. I don't like seeing him on wing. So if players play well and they keep the shirts, I expect both them centres to keep the shirt on Friday. Selection headaches again, which is good, because we haven't had that over recent weeks. So
rollers into Salford then, Jake. Rollers in there. Tell us what you would do and what side you would go for, and finish with a prediction on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give Jerry a rest on Friday. I think it's evident he needs a game. Get him right for like that. Potentially, it depends how fit Cogger is. I've heard Watson's described Cogger as a bit like Luke Yates, as a bit of a workhorse in training. He's got endless energy. Fitness levels are through the roof. If he's coming straight back and he's going to be fit, properly, really fit to play, I'd probably potentially start Cogger with Will Price and see how he does there. But I do think that'd be hard on Sam Wood. So for me, I'd go with Cogger on bench, and I'd start. We don't know why he missed the other day. I'd probably move Ashall Bott to wing in place of Jerry, but again, that's harsh because he played really well at fullback. But he's probably more suited to wing than Golding, and if Golding's back for Friday, he comes back in, and that's the only changes I'd make, to be honest with you. Don't think we picked up any injuries other than that, did we? I think Leroy went off once for Ed Doc, came back on, and apart from that, just Russ. Apart from that, I think we were pretty good on injury front. So, English potentially comes back in for Wilson, maybe. Give Ollie Wilson a rest, ready for Leeds game. I don't know, but I think that'd still be pretty harsh on him because he's been playing well, especially starting games as well, going up against likes of Fiti, Tanganoa. So, yeah, not too many changes, but yeah, fully expecting us to beat Salford. Some sad news today, Mossop's retired for them. He's always played well against us for Salford, and he's a hell of a player, so that's sort of in our favour. They've been absolutely appalling in recent weeks. We've got to be going there to pick up the points, really. 26-12, I'll go with. Giants win. First time in a while.
Nice. What about you, Nat?
I'm glad I'm sat down when you just said that. Yeah, I agree. I think you've got options. So if Jerry's not playing, just to injury, we'll just say he's not playing because he's injured at centre, which he has done before. Do you watch and play Golding at fullback, or do you move Stan Wood back out to the wing and bring Cogger as well? So he has three options. It'll all depend on which way he wants to go. I should imagine that Cogger or Gaskell will start in the halves alongside Price. If Wood don't get moved to the wing, I think Wood will find his spot on the bench again as that utility in case anything happens. I would bring Golding back in, to be honest. As good as Ashall Bott was, and I do like him. Like I said, probably going to go on the wing. Probably my option will be Golding full back, Bott wing, if it were coming down to it. Unless Warlow needs the rest, I don't think I'd bring Latelli another week off. Just in case, put my English back. If any always need a rest, then can rest there. If not, much I don't want it to be, I think it might be Sam Hewitt that would miss out.
Yeah.
In the thing, I think Sam will get the nod over Sam Hewitt just because of the utility value that Wood can bring in the backs, in the halves, in the forwards. So yeah, I'd probably go Golding, Ashall Bott, Leroy, Wardle, Louis, Price, Cogger in your backs, and I think there's enough flair and pace and power in there to do a job on. I'm glad Jake mentioned Lee Mossop. It's really sad to see him go. He's a very, very good player. Don't really like to see players retiring due to injury, so it is sad, and fingers crossed, like I say, he's got something planned for the next stage of his life and people around him, because if he will find it difficult. So good luck to Lee Mossop in his future and the next venture in life. But yeah, even if Jake's going the winner, we all know I'll go the wing because I'll back the boys to go. So I'll say it's going to be 24-16 to Huddersfield, and just hopefully we're not 16-0 down and we don't have to work his way back in here. Hopefully we can start well this week, which I'm sure we will.
I'm going to go 18-14. I like that team, Nat.
Just to mention as well, like possibility if Gaskey's back then and Golding's not fit, he can move Gaskey to full-back and Ashall Bott to wing. So, if Cogger, Gaskey, Latelli are all fit and back fit, then he's got plenty of options in that back line now where to go, hasn't he? So it'll be interesting to see which way he goes. I'm not sure all three will play.
No, I don't think he can bring Gaskell and Cogger back in and put them both in halves. I think that'd be really, a bit harsh on Price. Not
even harsh on Price. I think just playing all them three is risky.
Yeah.
If two of them three go down injured in the game, I know someone's great utility line, but you lose two subs then, don't you? So I think you probably need to bring two of them back, and that's the option. I'd probably say Latelli will be brought back on one of the halves. Like I say, I think I'd like to see how Will Price does next against a proper seasoned halfback like Cogger or Gaskell. For me, Gaskell's leaving, so I'd probably Cogger get first crack as he's still contracted next year. But yeah, I'd go with that. But yeah, Giants by 8, and we'll make it 4 wins in a row. I'm full of confidence.
Very good. I'm going to go. I like the team that you mentioned, Nat. I'm not going to deviate from that too much. I'm going to go a bit closer though. I think Giants will win, but 18-14. I'm going to go for. I think Salford always get up, don't they? I think the Ian Watson factor, and Salford do generally want to put one over on us, don't they? So I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for it being a tight game, but a bit of Watto revenge this time, and 18-14.
I was just about to say that I agree what Jake says, that they haven't been the best lately, and a lot of Salfords are this time, but let me tell you now, we are going to be facing a completely different Salford side than any other team in Super League does. The Salford fans they'll be loud, and I should imagine it'll be 80 minutes of getting on Ian Watson's back, trying to get at Watto, because they also don't like it for one reason or another, and I'll be there. I am going, and hopefully we can get the win, and Watto can get his revenge. And I hope actually Watto comes back after the game and sees us, because we will show him that we are. Salford may probably will sing some nasty things about him and stuff, and say some nasty things like calling him a snake and that. But as long as he knows that the Clarent Go faithful, we've got his back and we're all behind him. So, but yeah, be a totally different Salford side we're facing, but I'm still backing the boys to get the victory.
Yeah. And I think that's probably a good place to end the podcast. So thanks to everybody for getting involved. Thanks for listening, and apologies. I think there's been some technical gremlins and glitches in and amongst this recording as well. So hopefully next week will be a little bit better when Josh is back. So thanks again guys. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Jake. And we'll hopefully be singing this victory song again next week.